this is just a commentary, a bit of a bugbear of mine. Back in November, the ATO sent me a congratulatory memorandum or whatever on how good their performance was about collecting taxes. And it's not really their fault, but basically they congratulated themselves for getting $90 billion worth from large corporates. And I thought, I'll look a bit deeper and find out what's going on here. And in the same year, out of all the PAYG pay earners in Australia, they took $330 billion. Right? So 15 million people, part of it $330 billion. All the large corporates, part of it $90 billion. There were 3,560 odd companies in that pool. When I looked a bit further, the top 10 largest companies in Australia contributed 25 billion. So it's looking even worse as to what the hell are the rest of them paying. And I think they also congratulated themselves on an $11 billion snatch from the gas and oil sector, which is a bit laughable. I went a bit deeper and I thought, okay, what are these? What's the breakup? Overseas foreign companies was about 1,646. Public companies, which are the ones listed on the ASX, there was 600 of them, and there was about 1,700 odd that were large companies that are resident here in Australia but aren't listed. They're unlisted companies. So really the take of 97 or $98 billion out of that is just, and it says to me that the legislation that we've got in place is pretty ordinary. I look a bit further into foreign companies, and if you look at Alphabet, for example, where this video, if I upload it to either Facebook or Instagram or bloody Google or whatever, I'm going to have to pay marketing fees all over the place and advertising fees. They turned over $9 billion in 22. They paid a service charge and a few other expenses off to Singapore of about $6 billion. And by the time they dwindled away what they had to pay here, they paid a total tax bill of $45 million, right, which is not much for $9 billion worth of turnover. I'd suggest maybe if we charged 2%, you'd have $180 million worth of tax on top, and you wouldn't have to worry about this transfer pricing crap that they've been going on for years. Perhaps at this time when we're talking about tariffs and protection and everything else, might look in its own backyard and go, okay, you know what, we'll just lop in a turnover tax on these guys for 1 or 2% and take people off the streets. If I could get you another $90 billion worth of income for the government, would I have any homelessness in Melbourne, or Sydney, or Queensland, Brisbane? Could I potentially cure the issues they've got in the Aboriginal communities and whatever else? Yeah, I think I could. I think if we looked at a percentage of turnover, it might be a bit easier for us to handle rather than transfer pricing and worrying about all the expenses and everything else that they're doing. And alternatively, not alternative, but a plus is that none of the large companies that operate in this country actually vote. So it shouldn't have any impact on no other party that is currently intending to stand for it.